All right. So more important than anything else. So Gulliver loses his clients, and that is very, very important. If you lose your clients, you will not have any income. So he now loses his clients. So he decides to become. So he is anyway a doctor, a trained doctor. So because he apprenticed under this surgeon, under this doctor, so he decides to go, go on a ship and go on a voyage so that he can get paid well. Okay. So what happens is, this happens after Mr. Bates's death, and after trying for some time to really do well, he wanted to earn from that his profession, but he didn't find the proper clients. Okay, so what happens is he decides to go on a voyage, to sail on a ship so that he can get paid. And after some 3.5 years, that is, they go on voyages to. Actually, they use the term Levant. Levant means, if I'm right, the present day Middle East is called as the Levant. Israel, Syria, that place. So, 3.5 years he spends. Okay, and since in a ship there is not much of work, that he himself says, he as a surgeon on a ship. So he goes there as a surgeon on a ship. What is important for a doctor? That you should get maximum number of patients. Yes or no? Maximum, now ships are like small cities. But those days, I'm talking about 1700s, not many. If there are 150 people in a ship, it's a big thing. So he had a lot of, as a surgeon on a ship, he had a lot of time. So with that time, what he used to do fast? He had a lot of time on his hands. So with that time, he used to, he spent his voyages reading books and learning language. Okay? Reading books and learning language. So, why does Levant and then to the East Indies and West Indies. Now, Levant, I told you, is present day Middle East. East Indies, what was called as East Indies? Which is East Indies? West Indies is the group of islands between North America and South America. East Indies, present day Indonesia. Indonesia and its surrounding islands were called as East Indies. In fact, they were called as Dutch East Indies because the Dutch occupied this. So these are called as East Indies. The islands between the US and North America and South America were called as West Indies. So ingala poraru present day Indonesia. Okay. So angala poraru pogumbodhu he goes there, and what happens is so he comes back from the voyage. He tries his hand at medicine, being a doctor again, but that does not happen. So he decides, let me go on voyages and earn money. Okay. So what happens is he decides to go to board a ship. It is called as the Antelope, and they set on a voyage to the East Indies. And while going on that, he gives the coordinates of that. So Indonesia, the first voyage to Lilliput. Lilliput is somewhere in Southeast Asia. This is our assumption. But it is not just Southeast Asia, somewhere near Australia. Because if you see Indonesia geography, Indonesia extend Australia. So somewhere in the near Western Australia. This is my assumption, but again, you read the book and tell me. So East Indies, he gives the coordinates where these things happen, and unfortunately, their ship meets has a problem. It meets a storm. The ship is rocked by a storm, and then they go on a boat. They transfer themselves on a boat, and from that boat, they try to reach land. They try to reach that, and unfortunately, he doesn't know what happens to his co-passengers. So there are people on the boat. They keep on rowing. The storm is there, okay? And what happens is the storm, they meet the storm, and unfortunately, what happens is he realizes that he's the only survivor. So what he does is he swims and finally he reaches land. And what happens is he sleeps. Okay, because of the tiredness, he sleeps. Now, from the description of this, it's clear that he's the only survivor of this journey. And the shipல போயிட்டு Antelope இந்த shipல போயிட்டு East Indies கிட்ட போயிட்டு அங்கெல்லாம் அவங்க ட்ரேட்லாம் பண்ணிட்டு then the ship meets a storm. They transfer themselves to a boat. From that boat, they try to they try to reach land, and he reaches land. Gulliver reaches land. So, and it's very clear that Gulliver is we don't know what happened to the other sailors, but Gulliver is the only survivor of this entire ordeal. Okay, so our swim பண்ணி land reach பண்ணிட்டு, so I'll continue it here. He reaches land. So this is the Antelope. We don't know what happens with the ship. This is the name of the ship. Are you clear? So he reaches land. When he wakes up, I think if you read the summary, you will know. When he wakes up, he is not able to move. He is lying down like this on his back, and he sees the sky, and he realizes that something or somebody has tied him down, his hair and all that. You know, hair appo long வளர்த்துப்பாங்க, short hair கிடையாது. Those days people used to have long. In fact, they also had a habit of braiding the நம்ம பின்றோம் இல்லையா, the braiding, they have a habit of braiding that hair. So it is very clear that he wakes up. So he sleeps through the night. He wakes up, Gulliver wakes up, and he realizes that he has been tied down to the ground. Okay, he has been tied down to the ground. He is not able to move. Okay, so you read that description. The description is quite interesting. So he realizes that somebody has done this. So he's not sure, but then slowly what he realizes is that he's not dealing with ordinary people, but people who are, what is the size of the Lilliputians? How will you call them? What is the size of anybody? 6 inches. So what is the proportion, the ratio between Gulliver's height and the என்ன கொடுத்திருக்காங்க? So he's tied down to the ground. We don't know whether it has not been introduced yet, but this is how you call the people of Lilliput. They are called Lilliputians, and they are 6 inches tall. Okay, they are 6 inches tall. Now what happens is, he realizes that these people are trying to have so அவர் இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு tall person பார்த்தா அவங்க என்ன பேர் வைப்பாங்க? We are in Lilliput right now. They speak a separate language. They speak a different language. They speak the language is different. Initially, Gulliver does not understand it. Let us be very clear about that. The language is different. He doesn't understand. He tries to communicate through signs and all that. So 6 inches tall people, when they meet a person of Gulliver's height, of our height, already ஒருத்தரை போய் பார்க்கும்போது என்ன கூப்பிடுவாங்க? ஜெயண்டா கூப்பிடுவாங்க. எனிபடி எல்ஸ் அவங்க பாஷையில அவங்க என்ன கூப்பிட்டுருப்பாங்க? அவங்க பாஷை என்ன கூப்பிட்டுருப்பாங்க? Blefuscu is the other land. என்ன கூப்பிட சான்ஸ் இருக்கு? நீ ஒருத்தர் மீட் பண்றடா, you meet someone who is say 12 13 times your height. What do you call that? Call that person. பார்த்த உடனே என்ன தோணும்? ஜெயண்டா சொல்லலாம். What would the Lilliputians have called? Monster. Very good. Another attempt. No, where are attempt பண்ணுங்க. One second. Are we still recording? அவங்க பாஷையில அவங்க என்ன தெரியுமா சொல்றாங்க? They call him the புக்க படிச்சிருந்தா தெரியும். They call him man. So now what I want you to do is, okay, now I'm thinking about this. Why does Gulliver choose non-violence? Why does he choose to, for example, 2 choices I don't understand here. Chooses not to kill anyone. Okay, this is the first thing. The second thing is, you have been tied down. he tries to remove his or come out of his bonds. Immediately they shoot arrows. Okay, so when he tries to free himself, they shoot arrows. So what happens is the arrows are just like pinpricks because he's a giant. He's a man mountain. Okay, in their language, he's a man mountain. That those pricks do not disturb him much. He can easily, he can withstand that pain. When he tries to free himself, the arrows are shot. The arrows just prick him, cause minimal pain. Okay, so that is minimal. No problem. And yet he chooses not to kill anyone. Even when people misbehave with him, he lifts those errant people and he doesn't do anything to them. So this question will always remain. Why does Gulliver choose not to kill anyone? This is okay. At least here there is violence. The second thing is, okay, this is another question which I would like to ask. Which please ask these questions to yourself as you go through the book. Okay. Now that he decides to cooperate with these people. Okay. So when he has decided and the Lilliputians have understood that he is going to cooperate, you know what they do? They prepare a giant platform with wheels to transport him as a prisoner from the place where he was found to another place. He could have easily got up and walked. This is another question that will always remain with us. Why do the Lilliputians employ or prepare a giant platform? Okay, a moving platform with wheels. Okay, to transport Gulliver from the place where he lay to another place, actually to a temple. See, instead of someone says it's as absurd as saying, sir, I will help you. Okay, so I will just stop recording and I'll ask this question and then we'll continue.